Thanks, Nico. Look, anytime you can keep a clean sheet on the road, you're usually pretty proud and happy with that. Obviously, we had a couple good looks at goal. Danny's in particular in the first half, Chris at the end of the game. But overall, in the middle, two teams that kind of canceled each other out. It's a very strong, organized Charlotte team that doesn't give up a lot of chances. You're not going to get a lot of looks on the road, especially here. But overall, I still think important for us to not concede, to keep a clean sheet is something to build on after we've given away a lot of, I'll just say, uncharacteristic, maybe easy, soft goals. So again, back-to-back clean sheets now. But it doesn't mean anything unless we follow it up now with really good performances at home on Wednesday and Saturday. A big opportunity to pick up 6 points and move up in the Eastern Conference, where, as you guys see, it's very tight. You don't want to be in that middle part. You want to try to get some separation in the summer months. But overall tonight, like I said, two teams on a hot night in a hostile environment on AstroTurf kind of leads to a 0-0.
Thanks, Jim. Jonathan Tannewald.
Thanks, Nico. Jim Oliver's had his ups and downs so far, but tonight was definitely one of the ups. What's your assessment of his game?
Yeah, he did a great job. I'm proud of Oliver. I thought that, any clean sheet is something that makes you grow in confidence. I think getting one in New England, even though we're upper man, that's still important just for the psychological part of things, to not have the ball hit the back of the net. And in tonight's game, he didn't have a ton to do, so it wasn't like a nonstop over and over, getting bombarded with shots. But for me, these are the hardest games for goalkeepers because you're called upon probably three big saves that he had. One in the first half where it's a, I wouldn't call it a 1v1, but it's in tight and he does a good job coming out, makes a big save after Nathan fell. And then at the end there, does a great job getting low really fast and pushes it past the post. So improving too on the crosses. So, look, guys, he's done a great job. He's a young goalkeeper, and shutouts build confidence. So happy for him, Jonathan. But we know now we have to follow it up, like I said, with a good performance at home.
Lewis.
Thanks, Nico. I feel like the last couple of weeks, Jim, we've been talking about Leon Flock's performances. Do you think this three-game stretch now we've seen from Leon is potentially the best that he's played for you guys? I mean, he was all over the field tonight with interceptions, blocks, tackles. Can you just speak on Leon's performance?
Yeah, Leon has an incredible mentality. He has a willingness to compete, to fight for every ball. He never takes a play off. So, for all the young kids out there, and everybody falls in love with the guy who does a million step overs and tricks, who scores a crazy flashy goal. Leon does all the little things really, really well, and he does whatever the team needs. So a dying breed of a type of player, but he just wants the team to win, and he's selfless, and his work rate has been really, really strong when we needed kind of an anchor in there to protect our center backs. He's done a really good job of that. He also helps cover out wide because his closing speed, like I've talked about, is really good. And I agree with you. He's in great form, and it's kind of unbelievable that he's in this good a form because he's been out for, almost 6 months, plus 6+ months, with a hard rehab, getting hurt in preseason, lost zero fitness, obviously. But also had some sharpness with the ball as well. So great game from him. And we're going to need 2 more great games from him before the break.
Jose?
Thanks, Nico. Jim, would love to hear from you. Obviously, when we spoke last on Thursday, you mentioned that Jose's health and sort of his availability revolved around some testing in terms of, the contact part of the game. A night off for him today. How is he holding up? How is he doing? How's he feeling?
Yeah, so it was a game that you want to bring him in, but we were I don't want to say we were comfortable, Jose, but we were organized. And in an instance there, we're going, Leon's playing pretty good at the 6. If you go defensive mentality, you probably put Jose in there and then bump Leon, but then you're changing relationships in the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and things can go a little wonky there. So we stuck with, what got us to where we were in the game. Wanted to keep McGlynn on there because we thought maybe there was a window for him to play a pass to maybe win the game and not get too defensive. So we stuck with that. Jose rejoined the team fully on the day before the game, and it was literally a question whether to even travel. So credit to him for coming on the trip. And now we go into a busy stretch where, let's be honest, we're going to use all our guys that we always use, and hopefully he can play a role in the games moving forward.
And in terms of, the man that everybody's asking about tonight and probably for the next few nights, in terms of Leon, a man who is on, the last stretch here of his contract ending in 2024, somebody you would like to see back wearing the Union Shield on his chest?
Always. I love my players. Leon has won a lot of games for us here in Philadelphia. There's always talk and back and forth on contracts. There's other things in life too that come into play. Obviously you guys know where he's from, so we'll kind of balance and find what is best for him, that keeps him happy. But right now he's very happy here. He's playing great soccer, and selfishly as the coach, I hope that it stays that way, because it's hard to become a starting quality player in this league, and he's still really, really young and is contributing a lot. Usually, he's had an unlucky injury stretch, right? He's a guy who usually never gets hurt. I think, God, he plays near every minute now in some seasons for us. So I think that stretch is in the past. I hope he continues to play in Philadelphia. But wherever that is, I want to see him reach his absolute max, and he'll help hopefully us for a long time, and we'll see how things play out.
Of course. Thank you, and safe travels.
Thanks.
Kyle?
Hey, Jim. Jack Elliott tonight was a force on defense. 4 interceptions, 2 recoveries, 2 blocks. How would you assess his game tonight? And then the last 3 or 4 games, he's really seemed to come on. So just kind of how's he been building throughout this season?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, the striker that our center backs went up against is a great reminder that the college game still produces really, really good players. Okay, he's a handful. There's no two ways about it. Doesn't matter where you start your career, when you kind of develop or grow. But he was in a tough matchup, and Jack made a lot of last-ditch tackles, used his body well, made a few big blocks in front of goal. Just with those long legs, maybe poked a few away that put out a fire before real danger comes. So really good performance from Jack. We used him, you might not have noticed it, but we used him a little different on the set pieces tonight too. He's a little more central because Charlotte has about 5 guys that are my height, 6'4" and 5, and some of them even bigger than me. So it was an adventure, and he won a lot of balls in that center part of the field. So yeah, a lot of the little things that you need to keep a clean sheet. I think the group did tonight, but Jack Elliott was certainly at the spine of the team there and had a really strong performance.
And final question will go to Jonathan.
Thanks, Nico. Jim, speaking of guys, we're going to ask you about a million times in the next few days. Is Julian Carranza, and he's in the news again today. And Neil Sika was talking about what you were talking with him and Lloyd about not knowing when he's going to go. But now you're really going to hit the part of the year where you don't know if he's going to go tomorrow, or in December or any time before then or whatever. He's going to say all the right things, I'm sure, about, he's not thinking about it. How do you deal with it as the manager?
Well, he's so mature and so professional and so hardworking, Jonathan. I don't have to do much. I keep my relationship with Julian the exact same that it is here as it is now. He knows in his heart that I want him to go to the absolute highest level. I want to win here with him first, and hopefully it's for at least the end of the season. I've said that publicly. I'll say that to Julian's face. But I also recognize this game, Jonathan, and when opportunity comes and a deal has to be made, that benefits him, the club, and everybody, we'll do that. He's going to score a ton of goals wherever he goes in the world for the rest of his life. I still selfishly want that to be in Philadelphia for a while, and I wouldn't rule us completely out of that situation either, because again, when he becomes free at the end of the year, it comes down to who wants to pay for a striker that's a double-digit guaranteed goal scorer. So you see how expensive goals are in this country, how important they are in our league and all over the world. So it's going to be a situation where there's going to be suitors, Jonathan. There's going to be suitors that can pay probably a lot of money for him, and that's the reality of sport. I know how professional he is. Like I said, he's going to give everything for the badge for however long he is here. But you're right; it's going to heat up. I mean, just look at his numbers. If you throw in the Leagues Cup and you throw in the the Champions League, that goal rate and assist rate, for a young Argentine that works as hard as he does against the ball, it's just going to be a matter of time. So that's also the reality of things.
I suppose there's one other variable in it, which is if he says to you, look, I really like it here, but I know that I've got to get out of here if I want to play in the World Cup in 2 years. How does
So
your
baby steps there. Argentina's got a pretty
I
good
know.
national team. So
they don't have a ton of strikers though. And that's
yeah, no, but look.
how does
Yeah,
that
look,
we
I
say
hear
that,
you. I hear you too. And you have to understand the big picture, guys. Like, again, our fans know how much Julian wants to win. Our fans know how much I want to win. That is priority number one, always. We want to win every time we step on the field. But players also have ambition of playing in the Europa League, in the Champions League, making your national team, like you just mentioned. And that's more likely. Let's be honest, it's more likely him doing that if he's playing in Europe right now than MLS. That's not a knock on our league. Our league is an incredible league. It's a unique league. It's a league of choice now for a lot of young Argentines to come here, develop, and then move on. So that's a good thing. Before you can be a top 5 league, I think you have to be a selling league. That's the reality of things. So these are all positive things. I know maybe one sound bite here might get twisted and make me think negatively, if they come off as negative towards our league. It's the exact opposite. This is a great place to play, great place to get tested. Julian's an example of, it didn't work. He was a $5-6 million guy at Miami. Didn't work out. We found a way to get him on the field. We helped him develop and grow. And whatever happens next, this game, it tells the truth. It takes care of itself. What I think or say doesn't really matter. If he keeps scoring goals, he's going to be gone. That's the reality of life and pro soccer. And he deserves it because I love him.
Thanks,
All
Jim.
right. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.